Hello, you guys. It's Thursday afternoon. How's it going? How is life? Tell me what is going on with you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I am Erin K. Monahan, and this is my page, Erin K. Monahan Creative. I'm a designer. I'm an artist, and I love to share the lessons of personal development and personal growth that I process through my art. So today I wanted to talk about boundaries because it's my own issue. And when I learn something, I love to share it with you guys. So um, here's what happened, and here's what I learned. And then in a minute, I'm going to turn this camera around, and I'm going to do what I usually do and draw while I talk to you guys. So I found myself over the past few weeks being like really angry, right? Do you ever just get in like a funk and the people around you are annoying you, and the holidays are like pissing you off for reasons you're not really totally sure about? Nothing was going according to what I wanted, and I was just like hacked off. Okay, factor into this that like I'm 8 months pregnant, so there's gonna be a little bit of this going on anyways. Oh, you know what? I need to share this. Hang on. So if you relate to that, tell me in the comments while I share this in a couple of other places. Because I know you guys just all had Thanksgiving like I did. And we are never alone. So if it's happening to me, I know it's happening to somebody else. Okay. Oh, of course my battery's about to die. Of course. That's okay. That is okay. Okay. So, back to this. All right. So when this happens, right? When it feels like everyone's being mean to you and it's just so unfair and everyone's pissing you off and you don't really know why you're upset. You just know you are. It's really easy to complain, right? It's really easy to point fingers and say like, oh my gosh, like what's wrong with you? And why are you acting this way? And you're offended and you're put out and you're resistant to even be around people that that you're feeling a certain way when you're around them. And notice I didn't say how they make us feel, because nobody makes you feel anything. You choose that. And that's another topic for another day. But when this happens, newsflash, this is actually not about them. This is about you and your own boundaries. And this was brought to my attention recently. So I feel like I should talk about it. Because I feel like this is something that a lot of people, a lot of women in particular, struggle with. And it doesn't have to be that way. Okay. So I want to talk about why boundaries are really about you and they're not about everybody else. But first, I'm going to flip this camera and you're going to watch me draw while I chat. Okay? So, hang tight and let me turn this on. Da, 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 da. Let me get my little pin here. Okay. All right, turning this around. Sit tight. Nope. Oh, I think I just went sideways. All right, well, if it's sideways, it's sideways. All right. So, you can tell I started a little rough draft here. So most of the time, we don't even know that we're allowing things into our space, right? Until it feels so awful that it forces us to pay attention. And I think I'm going to try and slide this sideways and then slide it back. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. This may be a sideways video. Hold on. Let me check this out. Nope, it's still sideways. Okay, we're good. Maybe. I cannot tell. Okay, well, you may be watching me draw sideways. I'm looking at my other screen. Either way, you're going to get the graphic in the comments. Okay. So, back to boundaries. Most of the time, we don't even realize that we're allowing the stuff in our space, right? Until it just feels so crappy and so awful. Oh, come on, pen. That we are forced to pay attention. Right? There we go. And I had a very specific incident that got my attention, which is how I learned all about this, and how the universe had to basically hit me upside the head with a 2x4 to get me to listen up. So sometimes that happens, and sometimes that's what we need, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shrink this a little bit because that's not doing what I want. Okay, here we go. So even with the universe bringing things right into the middle of my face and showing me exactly what was going on, it still took someone else more qualified and experienced to walk me through what was going on. Okay? You guys, you need coaches. You need other people that have walked this road before. You need help with this stuff. Like, it's not your fault you don't know how to handle it, but it is your responsibility to connect yourself with someone that does. Okay? So anyways, she pointed out that this was a boundary issue for me, which I did not want to hear because nobody likes to hear that they have room for improvement. But it's really, really great if you can shift your perspective on how you are approaching your own life. It's amazing, okay? What she pointed out was I was allowing this. I was choosing this by not speaking my truth, by not saying what I need. That I was inviting this in by trying to play nice, by trying to keep everybody happy, trying not to rock the boat. And I was really worried about what everyone would think of me if I spoke up and said what I needed. And this can be really, really difficult if you've never done it before. And for many of us, this is an ongoing theme. This is a place where we need to heal in our lives because we do it over and over, and then we're miserable and we don't understand why. Okay? It's like a mystery. And what happens is when you get rid of it in one area, you will start to see it in another, which is awesome. You can get discouraged about that, or you can decide, well, that's really cool because now I can see more of it and now I can deal with it. Okay? So, I think it's awesome, but I love personal development. I'm like a self-help junkie. Everyone plays nice at the holidays, right? But I can remember a lot of times when I was growing up that, those holiday moments were exactly the time when shit hit the fan, right? Tell me in the comments if this has ever happened to you. I remember being a kid and like we ruined Mother's Day somehow, or something came up at Christmas. And there were several occasions burned into my memory of when someone spoke up and shit hit the fan, right? If you've ever experienced this, tell me in the comments because I know I'm not alone. It's okay to admit this. It's okay when things don't go like a Hallmark movie, all right? They're not supposed to. And you remember these moments so well. You're like, oh yeah, I remember the Christmas of '89 when blah, blah, blah happened, right? It's not that weird. Just nobody talks about it. And to me, at this point in my life, it is not worth having fake holidays that no one says what they're thinking and no one is interested in being honest or authentic or real. in order to like make it peaceful, because everyone ends up miserable and they're just putting on a face. And those are the memories that you carry with you the rest of your life. Like, what a huge regret. Constance is like, yes, this has happened to me. Okay, good. So to me, it's not worth it. Okay, because I've lived that and I know what that's like. And it's kind of, it makes the holidays a little disappointing. It makes them like, wow, like I thought it was going to be better than this. The Hallmark Channel told me it was going to be better than this, right? Can you guys see this? I'm making sure I'm in the screen here. And going along with something just to keep everybody happy sounds like you're keeping the peace. Let's not rock the boat, especially today. It's Christmas Day, it's Mother's Day, it's somebody's birthday, whatever. You're thinking of other people's feelings. Okay, that all sounds really nice because we've been told this is what you should do. Right? How many of you have told yourself that? Well, it's, this is just easier. Or I don't want to upset anybody. Or I don't, whatever, fill in the blank. We all have our excuses. I made them for like 36 years and it's okay. All right. What's actually happening in reality is this is a complete denial of yourself and what you need as a person. I'm going to say that again. This is a complete denial of yourself. It is not your job to manipulate other people's reactions. That is their issue. That is not your responsibility. You put yourself last by not saying what you need. Do you hear me? Like you put yourself dead last. And as women, we are told that this is what you do, okay? Which is why we all fall into it. And I get it. But you are saying you are less important than everybody else that's here by not speaking up when you have something to say, by not speaking up when something is not okay with you. You deny yourself. You say, I am at the bottom of this food chain. I don't deserve to be heard. My opinion doesn't matter. And I mean, you could come up with 100 other things. And as brought to my attention on another level, earlier today by another amazing friend, what are you modeling to your kids by engaging in that sort of behavior, by telling yourself that you're last? Because kids copy what you do, not what you say. I don't care how much you mean it. They are watching you. They are watching your actions. They are like, they're listening to your movements. They're not listening to your words. So how are you being the example for them when you say with your actions, I'm not important enough, I'm not valuable enough, I'm not worthy enough? Your daughters and sons will learn the same thing, right? And this social climate that everybody is like so disgusted with right now continues to perpetuate itself because you are too scared to say something that may or may not backfire the way that you think it is. Like we create this big scenario in our head that it's all going to go south. It's all going to be awful. It's all going to be, your fault. You're the drama. You're the problem. You're like, whatever. And that's just fear talking. That's fear keeping you safe. That's fear keeping you where you're comfortable and not in a place of growth and not in a place of getting what you need. It is okay to get what you need. Setting boundaries is actually one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself. It's like, if you're into self-care, which you should be if you're not, but it's like self-care at the highest level. Saying yes to what is okay in your life and no to what is not okay in your life. You only get one life. So why the confusion of boundaries? Why allow anyone to step on you? Why allow people to get in your life and dictate what's going on and you feel like you have to sit there and just take it? Allison said it's so hard. It's only hard if we make it hard, right? It's only hard if we decide it's hard. And people will push back on those boundaries. It's not just a one-time thing, right? They're like, everyone is like a little 6-year-old running around, okay? I tell my 7-year-old, you gotta stay in your bed, you gotta stay in your bed, you gotta stay in your bed. Every night, he pushes those boundaries. He gets out, he gets out, he gets out. Okay? This applies to all people. You have to continue to set those boundaries. But it's a really easy thing to figure out what you want and what you don't want. Okay? I just did this exercise. What is working for me and what is not working for me? And those things that I don't like and the things that I'm not happy with, those are the things that I pay attention to. How can I change this? Because I have a need here that's not being met. How can I change this to meet my own need? It is not required for you to not get your needs met. That's unacceptable. And I know this feels hard because most of us don't do it, and we're not taught to do it. We're not taught to love ourselves. This is a form of self-love. We're not taught to appreciate ourselves, to value ourselves, to find worth in ourselves. We're actually taught to hate ourselves, especially as women. Comparison, expectations, vanity, even grades in school. We are all brought up in this American society. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in America, you're kind of taught to hate yourself. Okay? And so it takes intention. It takes work. It takes practice for you to get to the point where that feels comfortable. It's super uncomfortable the first time. Constance says, no way. Only if anyone lets it happen, then it will be hard. If you allow it to happen, it feels hard because we tell ourselves it's hard. Because we tell ourselves, I'm going to hurt somebody else's feelings. That's not your responsibility. You can set a boundary, just like you do with your kids, with love and kindness and respect. It doesn't have to be, this set in stone, and you become a dictator. That's not what it's about at all. It's about, this is what I need. And you're allowed to have needs. You're a human. You're a person. Live your life as free as you wish. Absolutely. Constance, you're getting it. Okay, so when you set a boundary, you are loving you first. I'm going to do something else to this here in a minute. If you cannot love you first, how do you expect to truly love anyone else in your life? And that's what this comes down to. It comes down to a lot of things, but that's one of them. If you cannot love yourself first, completely and wholly as you are, how can you love anyone else in your life the best way? Because you have so much more else to give. But without self-love, we're constantly looking for this validation outside of ourselves. And that's not fair to anyone else that's close to you. Why is that not fair? Because it's needy, it's low vibe, it's not actually who you are, you're not able to show up because you're like this empty shell. All right, but when you love yourself first, you are, let's see, how do I do this? You're able to then pour that out onto other people. And they can feel that. It's a completely different energy. So what I did and what you guys can do too is I made a list of I don't know, there's probably 20 on there. 20 things that are bothering me about my own life right now. Okay? I got a little carried away, but it needs to be addressed. Okay? There's never too many. And I'm working on setting those boundaries right now and getting really clear on what I want instead. And I'm hyper aware that they don't exist. So when you start to pay attention to this process, you start to become more aware and that list will grow longer. You don't have to make a list of 20. All I challenge you to do today is just pick one. There is at least one thing out there that you have been avoiding setting a boundary with. Maybe it's with someone or something or something happening in your life, whatever it is. I want you to think about it, write it down. Where do you need to speak up about it? Something that doesn't feel good or isn't okay in your life. And you guys, it is not selfish when you're doing what's best for you. It's not. Everyone will tell you that it is, but it's actually not. Okay, so now we're going to turn this into, I'm going to make this bigger, and I'm going to turn that one off, and we're going to do a little trick here. And let's see if that shows up. Let's see. Nope, not like I thought. Can't really see that at all, can you? Alright, so we'll undo it. I'm going to play with this a little bit and make it look nice. But there's your graphic. Look for it in the comments here in a few minutes. I'm going to finish this up. But thank you guys for being here and listening. As I always say, if it's happening to me, it's happening to somebody else. So I needed to share this with you guys today, and hope you have an amazing Thursday, a great weekend, and it's almost December. Can you believe it? All right, you guys, I will talk to you soon.